At 6:00 a.m., my unemployed sister showed up at the apartment I rent from my parents. "I'll live here," she said. Mom followed it with, "We're doubling your rent to cover our expenses." When I said I'd move out, they smirked, so I took all the furniture. My name is Naomi. I'm 28. In my family, I'm the reliable one. I show up early, fix things, pay on time, don't make a scene. My sister Chloe is 26 and special. That's what my parents call her. Special means there are no rules. Reliable means I'm expected to absorb the rules for everyone else. I rent a small apartment my parents own above their garage. I've been there since I was 22. I pay on the first every month. I buy my own groceries, replace my own light bulbs, patch the peeling paint in the bathroom because Dad keeps saying he'll get to it and never does. I work inventory at a distribution center. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. I like steady. Steady lets me sleep. Chloe lives in the main house. Sometimes she has jobs, sometimes she doesn't. When she quits, Mom says the manager was toxic. When I stay late to cover shifts, Mom says I'm obsessed with money. That's the rhythm. I learned a long time ago not to expect praise. I tell myself I don't need attention. I just want basic fairness. A clean line between mine and not mine. A please and a thank you once in a while. Nothing big. The first crack this year didn't look like much. It was a Sunday dinner for Mom's birthday. Roast chicken, green beans, store cake with too sweet frosting. I got there early to help. Dad handed me a toolbox and said the cabinet hinge is loose again. I fixed it. Chloe showed up late with a paper bag from a bakery and called it a little treat like she'd funded the whole party. "Look at our girl," Dad said, hugging her at the door. Mom smiled at me. "Naomi, can you take the trash out before we eat?" We sat down. Dad lifted his glass. "Let's say one thing we're proud of this year." I kept it simple. I got moved to lead receiver. Small raise. I'm learning how to schedule the team. Aunt Nora nodded toward me. "That's solid." Mom didn't look up. "Don't get cocky. Titles make people lazy." Chloe cleared her throat. "I'm proud I'm taking time for my mental health. I left a job that didn't align with my values." Dad beamed. "Brave." I chewed and tried to keep my face neutral. I thought about how I'd spent Saturday fixing my own leaky sink, then mowing the strip of grass behind my stairs because no one else would. I thought about the rent envelope on my dresser, already sealed. Aunt Nora turned to me again. "You still in that apartment over the garage?" "Yeah," I said. "It works for me." Mom cut in quickly. "Family rate. She's lucky." She said it like I should bow. "It's market," I said quietly. Dad tapped his fork. "Don't start." Chloe swirled her wine. "She likes rules," she said, smiling. "She gets cranky when things change." I took a sip of water. "I like notice," I said, "and doors that stay closed when I lock them." Chloe laughed like it was a joke. After cake, Mom handed out stacked plastic containers. "Chloe, take the good pieces," she said. Then she turned to me. "Naomi, help me box the decorations." We stood at the counter in that tight little triangle. Me, Mom, Chloe. The room smelled like dish soap and frosting. Mom kept her eyes on the cling wrap while she spoke, casual like weather. "By the way," she said, "we're thinking Chloe might spend some time upstairs just for a bit, a soft reset." My hands went still. "Upstairs?" "In your place," Mom said. "It makes sense. You're responsible. You'll keep her on track." She smiled like it was decided. "We'll chat later." Chloe looked at me over the rim of her glass. "Relax. It's family." Dad walked in and grabbed a drumstick with his fingers. "Don't be territorial, Naomi. It's our property. You rent." I didn't say anything. I lined the lids one by one until they clicked. My stomach felt heavy, like I'd swallowed a rock. I tried to picture the next week. Work at 6, coffee at 8, laundry Thursday night, regular things, normal. Chloe bumped my shoulder with a container. "You'll be fine," she said. "You're good at sharing." Mom wiped the counter. "We'll talk details tomorrow," she added. "No stress tonight." I nodded once, because nodding is easier than fighting in a kitchen with cake crumbs everywhere. I carried the trash bag out to the bin, tied it tight, and stood in the dark driveway for a minute, listening to the house. Laughter through the wall. Plates clinking. My apartment light glowed over the garage like a small square you could hold in your hand. I told myself it was just talk. Families say things. They move on. But something simple clicked in me right then, like a switch. Not loud, not dramatic, just a steady thought. I want my door to mean something. I've been renting the apartment above my parents' garage for 6 years. When I first moved in at 22, I thought it was a fair deal. $900 a month, no lease, just cash in an envelope on the first. Dad called it the family rate. In reality, it was about the same as what I'd pay for a studio across town, but I figured it was convenient. No shady landlords, no random inspections. I could work my job, pay on time, and keep to myself. I treated that place like mine. I bought furniture, nothing fancy, but all mine. Couch from IKEA. I carried up the stairs alone. Bed frame from Craigslist I sanded and painted. A small kitchen table I found at a thrift shop. Every plate, every chair, every towel paid for by me. The only thing that belonged to my parents was the key. Chloe never understood that. To her, my apartment was an extension of the main house. She'd drop by uninvited, leave half-drunk coffee cups on my counter, crash on my couch because your Wi-Fi is better. Once I came home from work and found her wearing one of my hoodies. It was cold, she said. Like that explained everything. I complained to Mom. She waved me off. Don't be so rigid, Naomi. She's your sister. Dad was worse. You don't own that place. We do. Be glad we let you stay there. I never missed a payment. Not once. Even when I had to pick up overtime just to make it work. Even when Chloe borrowed $300 3 years ago and never paid it back, I kept paying because steady is what I am. The Sunday dinner. When Mom mentioned Chloe resetting upstairs wasn't the first hint. Over the past year, the comments kept coming. Chloe needs space. Chloe could use a fresh start. You're so good with structure, Naomi. Maybe she'll learn from you. It was always dressed up like a compliment. Like I should be proud to be the safety net. Meanwhile, Chloe floated in and out of jobs, in and out of boyfriends, in and out of whatever responsibility she was supposed to have. And every time my parents spun the story, she was brave, she was sensitive, she was misunderstood. I was the opposite. If I worked late, I was obsessed with money. If I skipped a family dinner, I was selfish. If I asked Chloe to stay out of my apartment, I was territorial. The pattern was so clear I could map it. Chloe makes a mess. Parents defend her. Naomi cleans it up. The pressure built slowly. One morning in March, Chloe let herself into my place at 7 a.m. She had a duffel bag with clothes spilling out. I'm crashing here a few nights. No, you're not, I said. Mom said, fine. When I called her at work and asked what this was, her voice was light. She needs stability, Naomi. Don't be dramatic. It won't be forever. Dad chimed in on speaker. And expect rent to adjust. More utilities, more wear and tear. We can't subsidize your sister. Subsidize? I almost laughed. I already paid full rent. You're lucky we let you, he said. That word, lucky, sat on my chest like a brick. Chloe didn't just crash. She unpacked. Clothes in my closet, makeup on my bathroom sink. She used my towel and left it damp on the floor. She took over the couch with her laptop and Netflix. At night, she blasted TikToks in bed while I tried to sleep. I pulled her aside. This is temporary. You need to find somewhere else. She smirked. Relax, Naomi. You're such a control freak. I wanted to scream, but instead I washed the dishes she'd left in the sink. The money fight came next. One Friday, Dad called. Rent's going up, $1,800. Now that covers Chloe, too. That's double, I said flatly. Utilities are higher, groceries, inflation. You're an adult. You should understand. I buy my own groceries, I said. I pay my bills. Chloe doesn't pay anything. Silence. Then Mom's voice cut in. Don't pit yourself against your sister. She's family. I clenched my jaw. So am I. I started doing math in my head. My paycheck minus gas, food, phone, insurance. $1,800 would eat everything. I'd have nothing left. I pictured Chloe scrolling Instagram in my hoodie while I ate rice and beans to cover both of us. That week, I brought it up at dinner. I can't pay double rent. If that's what you want, I'll move out. Mom froze. Don't be ridiculous. Where will you go? Apartments exist, I said. Chloe laughed. You won't leave. You're too scared. Dad leaned back. Don't test us, Naomi. If you walk, don't expect to come back. I stared at my plate. The chicken was dry in my mouth. I swallowed it anyway. The manipulation ramped up. Mom called late at night, voice heavy with guilt. You're tearing the family apart. Chloe is hurting. We raised you better than this. Dad left voicemails full of anger. You think you're special? Everything you have is because of us. Chloe texted emojis. Enjoy paying $1,800. Then, hope you like being alone, lol. I stopped responding. At work, I kept my head down. Nobody there knew what was happening. I was the reliable one there too, the one who never missed a shift, who volunteered for overtime. But inside, I felt cracked. I'd go home, sit at my kitchen table, and stare at the bills spread out. Chloe would walk in and grab my snacks without asking. I wanted to yell. I wanted to slam doors. Instead, I folded my laundry, lined up my shoes, and kept breathing. The moment that sealed, it wasn't dramatic. One night, I came home late. Chloe had friends over, loud music, pizza boxes everywhere. I asked her to keep it down. She rolled her eyes. This isn't just your place. Stop acting like it. I stood in the doorway of my own living room, furniture I had bought, rent I had paid, and I realized she actually believed it. They all did. In their eyes, nothing was mine. That's when the thought I'd been pushing down finally settled in. Heavy, but clear. If I stayed, I'd drown. And for the first time in years, I decided I wasn't going to. It all snapped during one dinner at the main house. They didn't even try to hide it. It was an ambush dressed up as family time. I walked in and noticed right away. Chloe was in my old spot at the table. Dad was pouring wine. Mom looked extra cheerful, that fake cheerful that meant they had something rehearsed. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Dad cleared his throat. So, Naomi, we've all talked. Chloe will be staying upstairs long term. You'll pay $1,800 starting next week. That covers both of you. Fair arrangement. I set my fork down slowly. No, it's not. I never agreed to that. Mom leaned forward. Why are you being selfish? Your sister is struggling. We're asking you to help. I looked directly at Chloe. Get a job. She rolled her eyes. You're such a jerk. I kept my voice calm. I'm moving out. If you want to rent it to her, go ahead. But I'm done. The silence after that was thick. Dad's face went red. Don't you dare walk out on this family. After everything we've done for you. I leaned back. What exactly have you done for me? I've paid you rent every month for 6 years. I fixed every leak, every broken hinge. I bought every piece of furniture in that apartment with my own money. Everything in there is mine. Mom slammed her hand on the table. Don't be harsh. Leave the furniture for your sister. She needs it. Chloe smirked. Yeah, don't be petty, Naomi. Be a grown-up. I looked at all three of them and said, steady, almost quiet, this isn't about revenge. This is about closure. I'm not going to fund Chloe's lifestyle anymore. Mom shook her head like I was being dramatic. Dad muttered something about ungrateful kids. Chloe laughed under her breath. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just kept eating bite after bite while their words bounced off me. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to convince them. 3 days later, I rented a U-Haul. I started early in the morning, took down the TV I'd bought, rolled up the rug, packed the dishes I'd collected one by one, the couch, the bed, the table. Everything I carried in, I carried back out. Chloe woke up around noon. She came out in pajamas, hair a mess, mascara smudged. At first, she thought it was funny. You can't be serious. You're actually leaving. Yeah, I said, lifting a box. She stood in the doorway, smirking. You're overreacting. You'll be back in a week. I kept loading box after box. The smirk faded when I unplugged the fridge. You can't take that. I need it. It's mine, I said simply. Her voice went up. You're ruining everything. I didn't answer. I unscrewed the shower curtain rod, rolled up the mat, packed the towels. She followed me outside, yelling, You're pathetic, Naomi. You'll regret this. I shut the truck door, started the engine, and looked at the apartment one last time. The windows were empty, no furniture, no dishes, no bed, just walls and carpet. I drove away without looking back. That night, my phone blew up. Mom, Naomi, this is childish. Dad, you embarrassed us. Chloe, you stole from me. I set the phone down. I sat on my couch in my new place, small but mine, and felt a strange kind of quiet I hadn't had in years. They thought I was bluffing. They thought I'd fold like always. But I didn't. And for the first time, I realized I never had to again. The calls didn't stop for weeks. The first night after I moved out, my phone buzzed nonstop on the counter. 20 missed calls by midnight. Texts stacked one after another. Mom, you've gone too far. You don't treat family this way. Dad, we'll never forget this selfishness. Chloe, you're a thief. I can't believe you took the bed. You're disgusting. I didn't reply. By the end of the first week, the tally was ridiculous. 57 missed calls, 34 texts, 3 voicemails. One of Chloe's was just her screaming into the phone. Another was Mom crying, saying I'd broken the family bond. Meanwhile, I was sitting in my new apartment, eating ramen at my own table in peace. The place was small and a little shabby, but when I closed the door, it actually stayed closed. That silence was worth more than anything. At work, people noticed. You seem lighter, one coworker said. New haircut or something? I shrugged. It wasn't a haircut. It was the absence of constant noise. I wasn't dreading going home anymore. I slept better. I woke up earlier. I had energy to cook, to walk after work, to sit on my couch and actually enjoy a show without Chloe barging in to steal my snacks. My parents didn't let it go, though. Mom sent a photo of Chloe sitting on a mattress on the floor. "Look what you've done to your sister." Dad left a voicemail. "We gave you everything, and this is how you repay us. You're heartless." I saved every message but didn't answer. A week later, Mom showed up at my job. She cornered me in the parking lot, tears in her eyes. "Naomi, just bring the furniture back. Be reasonable. Chloe can't live like this." "She's living in your house, Mom," I said. "She's fine." Her tone sharpened instantly. "You think you're better than us now? Don't forget who raised you." I walked away. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady when I said, "I'm done." 2 months passed. The storm didn't stop, but it got quieter. They realized I wasn't going to budge. Instead of begging, they shifted to guilt. "You won't have anyone when you're old. Family is forever, Naomi. Don't throw it away. Apologize and we'll forgive you." The words "forgive you" made me laugh out loud in my kitchen. Forgive me for paying rent on time for 6 years, for buying every piece of furniture myself, for saying no once. I started to see the difference clearly. For years, I thought I was the problem. Too rigid, too territorial, too obsessed with money. That's what they told me. But now that I was out, it was obvious the problem wasn't me wanting boundaries. The problem was them refusing to respect any. Every guilt-trip text, every angry voicemail, every accusation sounded the same. "We lost control of you, and we don't like it." The last message came in April. "We'll talk when you're ready to apologize." I stared at it for a while. Then I deleted the thread. There was nothing to apologize for. In my new place, I started building routines. Saturday mornings at the laundromat, grocery runs with my own list, quiet evenings where the only dishes in the sink were mine. I bought a cheap plant for the window and watched it grow. It was simple, it was small, but it was mine, and after years of being told I was just lucky to be allowed a corner, the freedom of finally owning my peace felt bigger than anything. It's been almost a year since I left. The calls stopped a while ago. At first, I checked my phone expecting another wall of guilt, but the silence stuck. Now, if I see their names light up my screen, it's once a month at most. I don't answer. People ask if I regret it. Honestly, no. I regret not doing it sooner. I used to think keeping the peace was the same as having peace, that if I stayed quiet, helped out, kept paying, they'd eventually see me as more than the responsible one. But the truth is simple. They didn't want to see me. They wanted someone reliable enough to lean on, but quiet enough to ignore. When I finally said no, they called it selfishness. To me, it was survival. These days, life is quiet in the best way. I go to work. I pay my bills. I come home to a space that's mine. Nobody moves my things. Nobody blasts TikToks at 2 a.m. Nobody calls me lucky while I hand them an envelope of cash. I built new routines. Saturday mornings at the laundromat, Sunday grocery trips, weekday evenings where I actually cook instead of grabbing fast food because I'm too drained. I invite a friend over sometimes and it still feels strange. No one hovering, no one judging, no one asking why I waste money on snacks or furniture. The difference is small but huge at the same time. I breathe easier. My shoulders don't ache the way they used to. I don't grind my teeth at night. I wake up and the first thought in my head isn't, what's going to go wrong with them today? Sometimes I think about that apartment above the garage. It's probably full of Chloe's stuff now, or maybe she's abandoned it already. Either way, it doesn't matter. It stopped being mine the second they made it clear I wasn't welcome there as myself, only as a wallet and a handyman. And the truth is, even when I lived there, it never really was mine. The rent was real enough, the bills were real enough, but the respect was fake. Every month, I slid that envelope across the counter and watched them act like they were doing me a favor. I bought every plate, every chair, every towel, and still they called me lucky. That's why I took the furniture, not to hurt them, not to spite Chloe, but to remind myself every time I sit on this couch or eat at this table, I earned this. They can't rewrite it. My mom's last attempt was a text in April. Families always come back together. I didn't argue, but I knew the truth. Families don't always come back together. Some splits are permanent, and that's okay. Closure isn't a dramatic scene. It's not slamming the door or screaming that you're done. It's quieter. It's not picking up the phone. It's deleting a text thread and feeling nothing. It's drinking coffee in the morning without a knot in your stomach. I used to think I needed their approval. Now I don't even want it. I don't need them to acknowledge what I did or what I gave. That chapter's closed. I'm not angry anymore. I thought I would be. I thought I'd replay every insult, every smirk, every guilt trip until it rotted me inside. But I'm not. Anger takes energy, and I finally get to spend my energy on myself. Instead of wondering why Chloe gets endless free passes, I'm learning how to budget smarter, how to cook better, how to live without walking on eggshells. Instead of chasing their forgiveness, I'm figuring out who I am without being the family's fallback plan. The peace isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It's in the quiet hum of my fridge. It's in the plants on my windowsill that actually thrive because no one knocks them over. It's in the fact that when I turn the key in my lock, the only person who comes through that door is me. This isn't about revenge. This isn't even about them anymore. It's about me deciding I'll never let anyone, family or not, turn my effort into their entitlement again. I'm not lucky to have a space. I worked for it. I paid for it. And now, for the first time, I get to live in it without apology. That's my closure, and that's enough.